Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. Now, I know many of Cowboys fans are also Lakers fans. Sorry about the news about Kobe Bryant. We're going to focus on the Cowboys today, but if you want to put in your RIPs in the comments, I totally understand that. But we will focus in, as I said, on the Cowboys. First up, does Dez want to play for the Cowboys? I'm giving this one 4 stars, and it's not really new. This is something Dez has opined on several times before. And his most recent tweet saying the Cowboys were among his teams. Remember he said not long ago he wants to Witten roll on the Cowboys, and he's doing a very good job about making sure we keep talking about him with all of his workout videos and tweets and whatever. More recently, he also mentioned, well, at least inferred, the Saints and Ravens there. And to be quite frank, Dez never stopped loving the Cowboys. He was always a Dallas Cowboy at heart. He loved playing for this team. The team just didn't quite love him back. Now, here was his tweet from a couple of days ago. My dream goals. I want to suit up in the blue and silver. Clearly about the Dallas Cowboys. The black and gold. Clearly about the New Orleans Saints. Or the black and purple. Clearly about the Baltimore Ravens. There are some more teams you mentioned before. But first, as it relates to your Dallas Cowboys. As I've said before, I am open to the idea of Dez Bryant on a 1-year deal. I also don't know what his role is. Amari Cooper, Gallup, Cobb, if those guys are back, that makes Dez your number 4 receiver. He's not a tight end. So what are you going to do with a number 4 receiver who's not going to be a special teams guy for you? He's never been a gunner, and he's not going to return punts at this point. All of a sudden, you got an older veteran receiver who you're not going to take away targets from Cooper in the red zone, you would think, because Dez isn't the same guy. So Dez does want to play in the NFL, and he's mentioned those 3 teams before. The Cowboys, Saints, and Ravens. He also, by the way, mentioned the Chiefs and Patriots. This shouldn't be much of a surprise, but a noted competitor like Dez Bryant wants to play for good teams. It's really not a huge surprise there. So a different type of Dez question for you today. Would you give Dez Bryant a shot? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I say yes. There's no harm in giving Dez Bryant a 1-year prove-it deal with no guaranteed money and seeing how it works out in camp. Now, my expectations will be low because that's the reality right now, but I say yes. And if you're watching on YouTube, you might get an ad break here. If you do, scroll on down to the pinned comment. You can type your Y's and your N's right there. Let's move on now to Dak Prescott. Not at the Pro Bowl, but his teammate Ezekiel Elliott is. But is Dak going to be getting paid? Yeah, 4 stars on this one. It's very, very obvious that, yeah, Dak's going to get the bag this offseason, and it should not be a surprise. And frankly, it's overdue at this point. The Cowboys have repeatedly made it clear that Dak Prescott is their guy. And as I've mentioned many times and will continue to mention, waiting on a Dak deal only makes it more expensive. So it's a matter of when, not if, Dak gets the bag. At minimum, he's going to get the franchise tag. That's a whole lot of money. At maybe more likely, he gets a deal from the Cowboys. Here's what Zeke said, by the way, at the Pro Bowl. Dak's our leader. He's the heart and soul of our team. He's going to get his money. No shocker there from Zeke Elliott. Close friends with Dak Prescott. And they both played very well for the Dallas Cowboys. In 2017, not great for Dak. Frankly, there was really only an 8 or 9 game swoon at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, where Dak hasn't actually played very, very well. He's been a huge part of this offense. He's a young, talented player. The Cowboys, you would figure, would find a way to pay him and get him on board with a very large extension. It's going to be expensive, make no mistake, but the alternative is waiting until after Patrick Mahomes, Russell, and Deshaun Watson get paid. Maybe it comes in, let's just say 34. I would rather 34 right now than to try and wait a year, have Dak Prescott play like he did last year, and now all of a sudden, because Mahomes and Watson signed, looking at 37. It is not a good idea to wait when it comes to salary cap extensions for your quarterbacks. It's also not a good idea to wait for your Valentine's Day gift. Yeah, pro tip, don't wait, don't forget, you'll get in trouble. So I'm helping you guys out. I am saving you 15% off all flowers and gifts at Pro Flowers. Head over to chatsports.com/flowers. Chatsports.com/flowers. It's coming up in 2 weeks now? Yeah, do it now. Get it out of the way, save money, don't pay for the rush shipping. Do it right now at chatsports.com/flowers. Added pro tip, get the cookie gift box, because if it's for your wife or your girlfriend, then you end up getting some of the cookies as well. And to make it even easier for you, I've got that link in the comments and in the description. Let's talk draft now, because I love talking draft. Senior Bowl just wrapped up. Should the Dallas Cowboys draft a linebacker early? This one is very, very obvious to me, and it is a horrible idea. It's fake news. You got too many needs to go linebacker early. I'm not saying that linebacker depth isn't a need. It absolutely is. Fan-sided made the argument, hey, they should go linebacker early because, hey, there's a lack of depth. You got question marks around Leighton Vander Esch, and you want someone to cover tight ends. All of those things are true. But you got way bigger needs than ideally for your roster, a player who barely touches the field this year. Ideally, Sean Lee's back, stays healthy, Jalen Smith is there, Leighton Vander Esch is there. That's the ideal scenario. And you have to operate right now like Jalen and LVE are part of your long-term pieces, because you cannot spend a premium pick on a linebacker who, if Jalen and LVE are healthy, plays not even 20% of your snaps. That is not a route that the Dallas Cowboys should be going. It does not make sense. It's not a sensible move by the Cowboys. And if you want a tight end stopper, you know what? I agree. Get a safety. It's 2020. You cover the top tight ends with a safety, not a linebacker. That's not how it works anymore. So let me know in the comments section what you think the Dallas Cowboys' biggest need is. It's not linebacker, and frankly, on defense, it's the least of your needs. You could lose Byron Jones and Anthony Brown at cornerback. Cornerback's a huge need. Defensive end, you might lose Robert Quinn. That's a huge need. Defensive tackle, you're probably going to lose Malik Collins and depth pieces. Safety, 3 of your top 4 guys are free agents. Linebacker, your number 3 is a free agent, and you want depth. You got to figure out corner, defensive end, defensive tackle, and safety all before linebacker. It's a need, but it is certainly not one you should be spending an early round draft pick on. That's really bad roster management. Now, speaking here of tight end stoppers, how about Kyle Duggar? Several of you have DM'd me before. If you watch our main draft videos on our Chat Sports channel, I have mentioned him in like October or November. 2 stars on drafting him. I like the idea. I don't know if you're going to be able to get him. Coming off a very strong showing at the Senior Bowl. Feel free to check out our Senior Bowl winners. Duggar was chief among them. Impressive athlete. Let me just sum up for you real quickly. You don't have to watch the Lenore Ryan film, which no one can find anyway, but you don't often find 6'1" or so, 217-pound safeties who can cover tight ends. Won the Cliff Harris Award in 7 games. That's to the best FCS defensive player. Or someone who's also a really good return man. Yeah, he's good, guys. And he's probably going to be a round 2, round 3 pick. I don't know if he makes it the Cowboys' round 3 pick. I'd love to bring him in. I plug him in immediately at strong safety. I say, Jeff Heath, come on back on a 1-year deal for super cheap if you want. If not, bye-bye. We're not going to start you. I keep Xavier Woods at free safety, and I figure out my depth after that. Now, many of you also asked about other Senior Bowl targets. Reminder, go check out our main channel. There's a good Senior Bowl video already up. Javon Kinlaw balled out. He's a round 1 pick. I like Neville Gallimore a lot. Not round 1, though. He's not consistent enough if he doesn't win with burst. Round 2, even trade down in round 1, or early round 2, I'm intrigued with him. Troy Pride was the best cornerback, by the way. Harrison Bryant was a better run blocker this week. That's intriguing to me. There are several players who make sense at tight end from that grouping. And then Chase Claypool, who I think might be an option, not as a receiver, but maybe you make him into one of those athletic Darren Waller type ends. Just an idea there that I'm throwing out. And you guys let me know in the comments, because I'm curious what the votes look like. We'll make it a poll on the channel too. What video do you guys want next? Type M for mock draft or F for free agency defensive tackle. We'll do both videos, but which one do you want first? Type M or F. Moving on now to the defensive side of the ball in terms of on the field with players right on the Cowboys. How about a Jordan Lewis breakout in 2020? I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I think it's very likely, and I'm very optimistic about it. Jordan Lewis finally got on the field this past season full-time as the team's starting nickel corner. And I think, see what happens to Byron Jones, but I think there's a good chance Jordan Lewis retains that full-time starter role, and I think a scheme change in particular helps him. There are no more, you have to be so big to fit the Mike Nolan defense. You don't have to be the 6'1", 32-inch arm guy anymore. That's not a thing, which Lewis never fit. Now, Jordan Lewis is a playmaker, and I like that about him. But he does need to get beat a little less often. I don't want to make it seem like Lewis is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's a good player, but he's really only an average starting slot nickel corner right now. Now, I know you see some saying, you go, wow, that's so high. Don't forget, it's the slot. There are a lot shorter passes. That's still a little bit on the below average side, but it's not outlandish. And most importantly, I need one of 2 things to you. Number 1, I need someone who doesn't get beat at all, or at least not as frequently. That's Byron Jones. Or a playmaker, and that is Jordan Lewis. So with Byron Jones a free agent, we'll see. Chidobe Awuzie, meanwhile, did not have a great year. Jordan Lewis in line to once again be the nickel corner. So peer into your crystal ball of the future here, and let me know in the comments who you think breaks out for the Dallas Cowboys in the 2020 season. Any name you guys want there. I like Jordan Lewis quite a bit, but let me know what you guys think. Moving on now to free agency. One little note. You remember how I mentioned mock draft or free agency targets at defensive tackle? How about Andrew Billings? I like the idea. If he's available, I'm all in. I'm trying to speak it a little bit more into existence than maybe I otherwise would, but it's only 2 stars here. Mostly because even though they're the Bengals, I get that. I don't know if the Bengals are going to be like, yeah, Andrew Billings, bye, see ya, we don't need you. Like, he's good at football. And I wanted him coming out of Baylor. Now, I think there were medical issues that dropped him out of round 1 and round 2, down, I think it was early round 4. But he's a great run-clogging option for the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty rough his first year, has gotten better since then. If I can get him, guys, I need a fat boy on the interior. And I mean that positive, by the way. Don't take offense to it. I need somebody who is big and who can stop the run on the inside. That is Andrew Billings. I think he can fill that role, kind of coming back home. Yes, you have Antoine Woods, who's an RFA. You're going to lose Malik Collins, though. I need more than just Antoine Woods as a 1 technique, a 2 gapping player. I don't have enough of those guys on my roster, and it's been an issue for years. The new scheme comes in, and now there's a chance for the Cowboys to fix it, and I am optimistic, at least, they'll find a way to do it. Now, we are a week away from the Super Bowl, so if you want to bet on the game, head over to BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120. They got all kinds of fun prop bets, including if Antonio Brown will tweet during the game. Bet yes on that one. Chatsports.com/bet. The promo code is Cowboys120. We wrap up the show with the final, I think, update on the Cowboys coaching staff. A move I really like. George Edwards is in as a defensive assistant. I love this hire. He will join the Cowboys as a defensive assistant. Will work with the linebackers and more. He was the Vikings DC under Mike Zimmer. Was also a former Cowboys linebackers coach. I like this move for the Cowboys, bringing in more experience, more ability on the coaching side, and even some younger blood there with not as many ties to Mike McCarthy. I'm a big fan of that move. Now, some other notes that we'll make here in terms of the coaching staff. They added several, what I'm going to call assistant to the assistant. Yes, you can make your office jokes in there. First up is Rob Davis, who I think literally is going to be an assistant to the head coach. Now, he's never coached before, so giving him the strange assistant head coach title is unorthodox, but I don't read anything into the title. Rob and McCarthy get along. I think Davis wants to be a coach. McCarthy brought him along. I don't think he's really going to have any power, so I'm not reading into the assistant head coach title. The strength coach, by the way, is Marcus Paul. He comes in and replaces Mike Wosick, who had retired, and Paul had been working under Wosick the past 2 seasons. So to recap then, your entire 2020 Cowboys coaching staff. Mike McCarthy is your head coach. Kellen Moore is your OC. He will also call the plays. Mike Nolan is your defensive coordinator. He comes in. We'll stick with a base 4 defensive lineman defense. John Fossil, a major upgrade at special teams coach. And I think most notably among the assistants, George Edwards as the defensive assistant. On the offensive side, Doug Nussmeier moves from tight ends to quarterbacks coach, with Lundo Wells, formerly of the Giants, moving over to tight ends. Skip Peete becomes your running backs coach, comes over from the Rams and a former Cowboys coach himself. Adam Henry, the Cowboys poach him from the Cleveland Browns. And former NFL head coach Joe Philbin is your new offensive line coach. On defense, longtime and successful defensive line coach Jim Tomsula takes over that role. Leon Lett stays as an assistant defensive line coach. Scott McCurley, he will be your linebacker coach. You'll get plenty of help, I'm sure, from Nolan and Edwards, both of whom have a background as a linebackers coach. Maurice Linguist is your DBs coach, and Al Harris, yes, the former Packers cornerback Al Harris, the assistant DB coach. And then finally, some other assistants. Rob Davis, assistant head coach. Not really going to have, I don't think, a big impact in terms of game day and all that kind of stuff. Jeff Blasco, the assistant O-line coach. Matt Daniels will also follow John Fossil from the Rams, the assistant special teams coach. And finally, 2 quality control coaches. Cannon Matthews from the Redskins and Chase Hazlitt, who, yes, is Jim Hazlitt's son, is the offensive quality control coach. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.